The Premier says it's still too early to call it, but there are some hopeful signs that the state may have passed the daily peak of COVID infections. For the first time in more than 3 weeks, cases have fallen below 1,000. But this downward trend may be short-lived. Gladys Berejiklian says cases will go through the roof once the state starts reopening next month. Here's state political reporter Ashley Raper.
For the first time in a long time, there are signs of hope, and the Premier was in one of the hardest hit areas to deliver the good news.
Although we can't read too much into this, pleasingly New South Wales has 935 cases of community transmission.
But Gladys Berejiklian is hesitant to declare cases have peaked.
We're feeling more positive than we have in a couple of weeks, but we're not ready to call it.
Even if cases are on the decline, they may not stay that way for long.
We also have to accept that once we start reopening, cases will go through the roof, but it won't matter as much because people will be vaccinated.
4 more people have died, and there are more than 1,200 people in hospital. 236 need intensive care.
I don't want any of us to sit back and think the worst is behind us because unfortunately, too many families are going to have loved ones end up in hospital or worse.
It has been the west and southwest that has experienced the worst of COVID so far. Today, though, there was some relief, with almost all the rules in the hotspots brought into line with the rest of Sydney.
I think it's important. Everyone should have the same rules. Makes everyone feel like they're a little bit more together. It's a little bit less them and us.
It's fantastic. I can see the grandchildren. We can have a little picnic together. I just feel elevated.
$5 billion has also been made available to council areas in the west and southwest to improve roads, parks and community facilities.
We know that it has been a very difficult time for Western Sydney, particularly over the last 3 months, but today there are 5 billion reasons as to why things are going to get a whole lot better.
The money is from the sale of WestConnex, after the government offloaded its remaining 49% stake for $11 billion. The controversial toll road is now fully owned by Transurban as the head of a consortium.
The short summary of the transaction is this. For 37 years, Western Sydney families will pay a toll, and for 37 years, the lucky winners will make a massive, massive profit.
The $5 billion from WestConnex is the first announcement in the government's economic recovery plan, which will be released in full next month. And it's no coincidence the focus is on the city's west and southwest. There's concern internally that the tougher lockdown has damaged the perception of the government in those areas, and there's a push to repair that quickly. Ashley Raper, ABC News, Sydney.
The vaccination push has received a major boost with the first Moderna shots given today. Mark Reddy is at a pharmacy in Sydney's west. Mark, how did day one of the Moderna rollout go?
Well, Jez, at least 14 pharmacies across New South Wales began administering Moderna doses today, including at least 3 here in Western Sydney. This pharmacy behind me administered 30 jabs in an hour and received 300 doses. And even though appointments have opened up for 12 to 59-year-olds, school children remain a priority between the age group of 12 and 15. So anyone outside that group is still being urged to get Pfizer or AstraZeneca. 14-year-old Dylan Ewan-Ton was among the first teenagers to get his jab of Moderna today and believes that's a pathway back to school.
I just want to get to see my friends again. We haven't seen each other for ages and stuff, and all my teachers and stuff, yeah.
We want the children to go back to school, just basically for their mental health and for their physical activity and their student and teacher interaction. So we want children to come out with their parents to get their vaccination.
Given restrictions have now eased in line with the rest of Sydney in these 12 LGAs of concern, naturally we saw more shoppers out and about, people ordering takeaway, and there were traffic jams in Cabramatta today. Also a reduced police presence, which was a good sign for many residents here. Authorities are still warning people against complacency though. Jeremy?
The regional town of Cowra in the state's central west has been plunged back into lockdown after a single case of coronavirus. Molly Gorman is there. Molly, what more can you tell us?
Jeremy, a 9-year-old boy is the town's first ever case of COVID-19. He attended school while infectious, and it's not yet known how he caught the virus. The broader community may also have been exposed. The lockdown is expected to last 7 days, with only the 4 essential reasons to leave home.
Surprised, disappointed, but also I think it was not completely unexpected because we had had such a wonderful run with no COVID cases in Cowra at all during this pandemic.
Across the rest of Western New South Wales, there were 9 new cases, 6 of those in Dubbo. In Broken Hill in the far west, there were another 2. On the Central Coast, there are 19 new cases. The Hunter New England has 24 cases. There are 7 cases in southern New South Wales, and in the Illawarra region, there are 45 new cases. Here in Cowra, locals are being urged to get tested and to get vaccinated.
Molly Gorman, thank you.